So, a little backstory, I just gotten out of a long, toxic relationship when I was around 23 or so. You know, the kind overwhelming, exhausting, and draining. I finally managed to shake it off, and I was ready to try dating again. My friends kept pushing me to try Tinder, and at first, I was hesitant. The idea of jumping into the online dating pool felt weird, but hey, what did I have to lose? After a few days of scrolling, swiping, and a lot of awkward conversations, I matched with a girl. She seemed pretty cool, great smile, good vibes in her profile, and we actually hit it off pretty fast in the chat. We texted back and forth for about 2 weeks, getting to know each other better. Honestly, I was a bit skeptical at first, but she was funny, and we seemed to have a lot in common. I remember thinking, okay, this could be fun. Finally, after a few weeks of texting, she suggested we meet in person. She seemed normal, and the chat had been easygoing enough, so I agreed. I was kind of excited, honestly. The idea of meeting someone new felt like a fresh start. Little did I know, I was about to get a real-life lesson in, well, let's just say it wasn't the fresh start I had imagined. So, fast forward to the night we were supposed to meet. I'm in bed, thinking about how the date could go. I wasn't expecting anything too serious, but a casual hangout seemed nice. I was just kind of hoping for some good conversation and maybe a connection. Then, around 2 a.m., yes, 2 a.m., my phone rings. It's her. The girl I've been texting for weeks. I'm not sure what to expect, but when I answer, she sounds rushed. She says, "Hey, I'm outside. I'll be at your place in about 10 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone says they're about to show up at 2 a.m. after you've just barely exchanged a few messages, that's a red flag. But for some reason, I didn't listen to the little voice in my head. Maybe I was too eager to see her, or maybe I just didn't want to be alone anymore. Either way, I said, okay, this could be fun, and went along with it. I threw on some clothes and waited for her to show up. My mind was all over the place. What if she was cool in person? What if it was a disaster? What was I even doing? I had no idea. But what I didn't expect was the moment she actually arrived. So, she pulls up in front of my house, and when I see her step out of the car, I can't even describe the shock. It wasn't the girl in the photos at all. I mean, at all. The woman standing in front of me was way bigger than the girl I'd been chatting with. And her hair? Completely different color, like, not even close. My brain is scrambling to process it all. I mean, I know we all tend to exaggerate or tweak things in our online profiles, but this was a huge difference. Now, I'm not trying to be shallow or anything. I don't care about appearances too much. But when you're expecting one thing and you get something totally different, it throws you off. I didn't want to judge her, but this was way beyond a little glamour shot angle. She doesn't seem fazed at all, though. No apology or acknowledgement of the mismatch. She just smiles, walks up to me, and before I even know it, I'm stepping inside my house with her. The whole situation feels off, but I just try to go with the flow. I tell myself, maybe she's just nervous, and I'll give it a shot. The moment we sit down, it gets worse. She's talking about her life, her family, her friends, but it's all in this vulgar tone. I'm talking cursing like a sailor, complaining about absolutely everything. At first, I thought she was just being candid, but no, this was beyond normal. It was like every other word out of her mouth was some kind of insult or complaint. I'm trying to keep the conversation going, but it's like she's just unloading all her emotional baggage on me. This isn't what I signed up for. But I stay polite, for now. But then, she takes it to a whole new level. So, we're sitting on the couch, and at this point, I'm just nodding along, trying to make it through without it being completely awkward. But then she starts leaning in closer, like, way closer. I'm not talking about the casual kind of getting to know you personal space invasion. This was the, I'm definitely trying to get you in my personal space whether you're into it or not kind of thing. I could feel my discomfort growing, but I didn't want to be rude. Still, the whole vibe was just off. She was talking so much trash about her friends, her family, her exes, you name it. I was starting to feel like I was listening to someone's therapy session, but without the professionalism or empathy. She was practically yelling about how everyone in her life was out to get her, and it was getting to the point where I couldn't even keep up with the negativity. I tried to make some excuses, like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, just to get a second away. Honestly, I was feeling trapped. The longer I sat there, the more I realized this was turning into something I didn't want. But when I came back from the bathroom, things got even worse. She was already on my bed. Naked. I stood there for a moment, trying to process what I was seeing. She was just lying there, waiting for me, as if this was completely normal. She didn't even say anything, just looked up at me like it was expected. It hit me like a ton of bricks. She was expecting me to cuddle, and I wasn't even sure how to react. What the hell was going on? I tried to play it cool. I said I was really tired, had a headache, anything I could think of to avoid the situation. But I wasn't prepared for what happened next. So, I'm standing there, heart racing a bit, trying to figure out how to get myself out of this situation. I mean, who does this? Who shows up at someone's house, completely ignores any sense of personal boundaries, and just takes it to this level? I told her I had a headache and was really tired. I wasn't in the mood for any of this. But she didn't seem to care. She didn't flinch. She just smiled and scooted closer to me, the kind of smile that made me feel like she thought this was all perfectly fine. I'm just trying to be close, she said. Her words felt like a slap in the face. I knew I wasn't imagining it, I was being pushed into something that felt completely wrong. I didn't know what to do. I mean, what do you say to someone who's just stripped down to nothing and expects you to cuddle them, after all the weirdness? I wanted to scream, this is not okay, but instead, I just froze. I lay on the edge of the bed, as far away from her as I could manage, eyes wide open, trying to avoid any kind of confrontation. The worst part? She was snoring within minutes. I couldn't sleep at all. I was wide awake, thinking about everything that had gone wrong. I kept telling myself, I'll never let this happen again, but in that moment, all I could do was lay there and pray that the night would end. And then it hit me, this wasn't just about me being uncomfortable anymore. This was a betrayal. I had trusted this person, even if I didn't know her all that well, and she'd taken that trust and turned it into something completely disrespectful. But the night wasn't over yet. Morning comes. I'm still laying there, barely moving, my mind racing. I'm still on the edge of the bed, not even close to being able to relax. She's snoring next to me, oblivious to how uncomfortable and pissed off I am. I feel trapped, stuck in this weird situation that I just want to escape from. At some point, I glance at my phone. It's still early, but I know I can't just lay there anymore. I set an alarm for a fake time, hoping it'll get her moving. I tell myself, get through this. Just get through it. When my alarm goes off, I fake the most groggy, half-hearted I need to go to work excuse I can manage. It's a Saturday, and I don't even have work, but at that point, I don't care. I just need her to leave. She wakes up, and she's pissed. She's not happy with me lying about work, and honestly, I don't blame her. But I'm not in the mood to care about her feelings right now. All I want is for her to leave so I can breathe again. And then, the cherry on top. She demands breakfast. Like, seriously? You're the one who came over uninvited at 2 a.m., and now you want me to cook you breakfast? I didn't say anything, I just let her get up and do it herself. But the whole thing was feeling like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. And of course, it doesn't stop there. She looks at me and says, I'll just stay here until you get back. And I'm like, nope. Absolutely not. But I don't want to confront her directly. I just tell her, as calmly as I can, that she needs to leave. I don't even want to fight about it. She's furious now, but I don't care. I walk out of the room, get in my car, and drive away, except she's not letting me go that easily. She follows me. So, I'm driving to work, again, it's Saturday, so no actual work, but she's right behind me. Not in a casual, oh, we live in the same area, maybe we'll end up at the same intersection kind of way. No. She's literally tailing me, making sure I don't get away. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm in some twisted version of a horror movie. I keep checking my rearview mirror, and sure enough, she's still right there. What does she think? That I'm going to pull over and beg her to stay? That she'll convince me to just go with the flow and forget everything that happened? I take a few turns, trying to lose her, but it's not working. She's sticking to me like glue. Finally, I pull into an empty parking lot near an office building, hoping she'll get the hint that I'm done with this. I sit there for a few minutes, trying to calm myself down. I'm not sure what to do. She knows where I live now. She knows my car. I feel like I'm being cornered. The worst part? I have no idea how far she's willing to take this. I decide to wait her out. I'm hoping she'll give up and leave. But no. After a while, I finally see her car slowly drive by, looking for me. I keep my head down, not wanting her to see me. I wait until she's gone, then I head into the building, relieved that I finally have a moment to breathe. But the worst part? As I'm walking inside, I know this isn't over. She's going to keep trying to contact me. I know I can't keep running forever. So, I do the only thing I can think of. I block her number. It's done. I blocked her number, and I'm finally feeling like I'm starting to regain some control over the situation. It's been a few hours, and the adrenaline is starting to wear off. I can breathe again. But at the same time, I feel drained. Like I've just gone through some emotional roller coaster and now I'm stuck in the aftermath. I spend the next few days waiting for some kind of message or call from her, but nothing comes. At first, I think it's just a matter of time before she tries again. I mean, this kind of behavior doesn't just stop, right? But days pass, and still, nothing. It's almost like she disappeared completely. And I start to wonder, was I just overreacting? Maybe I was too harsh? I mean, she wasn't awful or violent or anything, but looking back, everything felt so off. The way she showed up so late, the way she ignored all personal boundaries, the constant complaining, was that just a glimpse into who she really was? I don't know. But the silence after I blocked her feels like a relief, like I've dodged a bullet. But as much as I try to convince myself that it's over, a part of me still wonders what was going through her mind. Did she think we were really going to click, or was she just in it for? I don't even know, validation? Or maybe she had some kind of agenda I couldn't understand. Either way, I start to feel a little more at peace, but I can't shake the feeling that I've learned a hard lesson. A lesson that doesn't just apply to Tinder, but to all the connections I make moving forward. The whole experience was a reminder of how much trust we put into people we don't really know. How easy it is to get caught up in something that feels right in the moment, only to realize later that it was all wrong. And then, nothing. She was gone. No more messages, no more weird encounters. She just vanished. And I'm left with nothing but the memory of the most uncomfortable, bizarre night I've ever had. My friends? They think it's hilarious. They tell me it's the kind of thing that only happens in movies. But for me, it's not funny at all. I just wish it wasn't real. It's been a few weeks since the whole thing happened, and I'm starting to get back to my routine. I've thrown myself into work, hanging out with friends, trying to distract myself from the memory of that night. But the more I think about it, the more it nags at me. The whole situation feels like a betrayal, not just from her, but from myself too. I let myself get sucked into something that felt wrong from the beginning, and I didn't listen to the warning signs. It wasn't just her actions, it was my own willingness to ignore everything that felt off. I start talking to my friends about it. They all have their own versions of advice. Some think I should have just handled it differently, been more upfront with her, told her to leave sooner. Others say I did the right thing by blocking her and cutting it off, but deep down, I wonder if I could have avoided the whole mess in the first place. The truth is, I feel a bit embarrassed. I mean, how could I let it go on that long? Why didn't I stand up for myself sooner? It's one thing to make a mistake, but another to let it escalate like that. The worst part is, I realize I've learned something I never wanted to know, just how easy it is for someone to take advantage of your kindness, your politeness. You get caught up in trying to be nice, trying to avoid confrontation, and you end up compromising your own comfort. And it's not just about online dating or this particular situation, it's a lesson in setting boundaries with anyone, in any part of your life. People will try to push you past your limits, and if you're not careful, you'll end up doing things that make you uncomfortable just to avoid conflict. So, yeah, I'll never be the same after this. It wasn't just a bad date, it was a wake-up call. And while I wish I could say it's all behind me, I still think about it from time to time. Every time I swipe through Tinder now, I find myself second-guessing everything, wondering who I can trust and what I'm willing to tolerate. But here's the thing, I'm not going to let this ruin me. I've learned a valuable lesson. Maybe it was a harsh one, but it was necessary. I'll be more careful, more selective, and I'll trust my instincts next time. And if you're reading this and thinking, that could never happen to me, think again. It can happen to anyone. Don't ignore the signs. Don't let someone push you past your boundaries, no matter how badly you want to believe the best in them. Trust your gut. I'll move forward, but I'll never forget the lesson I learned that night. A few months have passed since the whole Tinder disaster, and I can honestly say I've had a lot of time to think about it. I still cringe every time I remember how I let myself get swept up in that situation. The whole thing felt like a whirlwind, but in hindsight, it was a slow burn of bad decisions that I could have avoided if I just listened to my gut. I try to laugh about it now when my friends bring it up. They joke about how wild it was, and I play along because, what else can I do? But deep down, it still stings a little. It wasn't just the way she behaved, it was how I let her do it. I feel like I gave her permission to treat me that way by not setting the boundaries I should have from the very beginning. I was too afraid of confrontation, of being seen as rude or insensitive, so I let things go further than they should have. But here's the thing, I've learned a lot since then. About myself. About how I interact with people. About how, just because someone seems nice or cool on the outside, it doesn't mean they respect you or your boundaries. And yeah, I've been doing some soul searching. I've started thinking about my own boundaries, not just with women, but with everyone in my life. I've learned that it's okay to say no. It's okay to walk away from a situation that feels wrong, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. I guess, in some strange way, I'm kind of grateful for what happened. It wasn't just some random Tinder nightmare. It was a lesson. A hard one, yeah, but it taught me to trust myself more, to listen to that little voice that says, this isn't right, even when you don't want to hear it. And that's been the biggest change for me. I'm more in tune with my instincts now. I don't let people push me around. I don't let anyone into my space if they don't respect my boundaries. And if they don't get it? Well, that's on them, not me. So, I'm moving forward. I'm still dating, but I'm definitely more careful. I ask the right questions now, pay attention to red flags, and trust myself. And if someone pulls a stunt like that girl did? They're out of my life faster than you can say blocked. In the end, the experience gave me perspective, and it's made me realize that I'm not just some passive participant in my own life. I'm in control. And no one gets to walk all over me anymore. And for anyone else out there reading this, if you're in a similar situation, trust me when I say, you don't have to put up with it. Set your boundaries early, and don't let anyone cross them. It's your life, your comfort, and your peace of mind. Never forget that. It's funny how something that feels like such a huge deal at the time can eventually start to fade into just another life experience. Time's passed, and I've definitely moved on from that night. I haven't heard a single word from her since I blocked her, and for the most part, it's been a relief. I guess I'm just grateful that I didn't end up in some even worse situation. But I still second-guess myself sometimes. Not just about that night, but about everything that followed. I mean, would things have turned out differently if I had said something sooner? Would I have felt more in control if I'd just been more upfront? I keep thinking, what if I had trusted my gut from the start? I think it's normal to feel that way after something like this. There are moments where I'll be sitting in a cafe or out with friends, and I'll catch myself wondering what I missed, what I could have done differently. Maybe I should have seen the signs earlier. Or maybe it was just fate that led me to this weird, uncomfortable encounter. I start to ask myself, why didn't I just tell her to leave right away? Why didn't I just get up and walk away when I realized this wasn't what I wanted? Why did I allow her to push me around like that? The reality is, though, that I didn't know how things would unfold. I didn't know how extreme things could get when she crossed those boundaries. The fact that I'm sitting here reflecting on it and trying to figure out where I went wrong is, in some ways, a sign of growth. I can look back and see where I stumbled, and now I'm actively working on making sure it doesn't happen again. And yet, there's still a part of me that questions if I handled it all the best way. But as much as I look back on it, I also realize that maybe it's less about what could have been and more about how I handle things moving forward. The next time I face a tough situation, I'll know better than to let things escalate to that point. It's all a learning process, right? You fall down, you get back up. You make mistakes, and you figure out how to avoid repeating them. What matters is that I'm doing just that, learning and growing. And maybe that's all I can ask for. The truth is, after everything that happened, I've become a little more cautious. Not just about dating, but about people in general. I'm paying attention now to things I used to ignore, the little comments, the body language, the way people treat others. I think it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new connection, especially when you're feeling vulnerable after a bad breakup. But I've realized that jumping into something too quickly can lead to all kinds of trouble. I'm still using Tinder. I've gone on a few dates since then, and honestly, I've learned to be more upfront. I don't hesitate to set boundaries right away. If someone makes me feel uncomfortable even in the smallest way, I call it out. I've had a few awkward conversations, sure, but nothing compared to that first experience. I think that's part of the growth. You learn to be okay with being uncomfortable when it means protecting yourself. And, man, I've also realized something else. Relationships, at least the ones that last, have to be built on mutual respect. That's the one thing I didn't get with that girl. She didn't respect me. She didn't respect my time, my space, or my boundaries. And that's a deal breaker for me now. If someone can't respect that from the start, I know it's not worth pursuing. I've also been thinking a lot about trust, how quickly we give it to people, how fragile it can be, and how it feels when someone betrays that trust. That night, I felt betrayed. Not just by her, but by my own lack of judgment. It's easy to be fooled by someone's words and their online persona, but the reality is always different. Sometimes, it's harder to see the truth until you're already in the thick of things. But I'm not going to let that stop me from trying again. I'm not going to let that one bad experience shape how I approach every relationship moving forward. If anything, I'm more determined than ever to find someone who respects me, who values the same things I do, and who knows how to communicate openly and honestly. That's the kind of person I want in my life now. At the end of the day, that's what this all comes down to: respect, boundaries, and trust. Those are the things I'll never compromise on again. And if you're reading this, wondering what you could learn from my experience, I'd say this: pay attention to the signs early. Don't let someone push your limits. Don't be afraid to speak up when something doesn't feel right. Protect yourself. And most importantly, never let anyone make you feel like you owe them anything you're not ready to give. Your comfort and your peace of mind are worth more than any date, no matter how good the conversation was or how attractive someone may seem. So, yeah. I'm moving forward. Wiser, stronger, and more self-aware. I'm not afraid to say no, and I'm not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't feel right. I've learned a lot. And now, I'm ready for what comes next, whatever that may be. A few weeks go by, and I'm settling into this new mindset. I'm not rushing things anymore, not forcing myself into uncomfortable situations just to avoid being alone. I'm taking my time, being more thoughtful about who I connect with. Tinder is still there, but it's more of a casual thing now. I'm just trying to meet new people, but I'm not expecting much. Then one evening, I get a text. It's from an unknown number. I almost don't open it, but something makes me check. And there it is, in a message that makes my stomach drop. Hey, it's her name from before. Just wanted to check in, see how you're doing. My heart skips a beat. What the hell? Part of me wants to just ignore it. The whole reason I blocked her was because I didn't want any more of this nonsense in my life. But there's a tiny, stupid part of me that's curious. It's been a while, maybe she's changed. Maybe she's going to apologize. Maybe she actually learned something, just like I did. I sit there for a minute, my finger hovering over the phone screen. I have no idea what to do. I feel conflicted. Part of me wants to scream at her, tell her what a mess she made of everything, tell her she has no right to be reaching out to me after everything that happened. But there's also that voice telling me that maybe I've grown, maybe I can respond calmly, maturely, like someone who's learned a thing or two. But I know deep down that even if she apologizes, it won't change anything. She crossed a line I can't unsee. So, I decide to play it cool. I don't respond immediately. I leave the message unread for a day, trying to figure out what kind of closure I'm really looking for here. I finally text back, "I'm doing fine, thanks. Hope you are too." It's short. It's polite. It's exactly what she deserves. She responds quickly. "I've been thinking a lot about that night. I know I pushed you too far, and I'm really sorry for making you uncomfortable. I was in a bad place, and I took it out on you. I hope you're not holding it against me." I stare at the screen for a moment, the words sinking in. There it is, an apology. But I don't feel relieved. I don't feel like this is the moment I've been waiting for. Instead, I just feel tired. Tired of the whole thing. Tired of replaying that night over and over in my head. Tired of trying to make sense of it. I take a deep breath. I think about how far I've come since that night, how much I've grown. And then I type. "Thanks for apologizing. But I'm not interested in reopening things. Take care." I hit send, and that's it. The finality of it hits me, and I feel lighter. I've let go. I've moved on. The message stops coming. I don't hear from her again. And that's how it should be. I realize something now, I didn't need her apology to move on. I didn't need her to fix what happened. What mattered is that I did the work to heal, and I don't need closure from someone who never understood the importance of boundaries in the first place. I feel more at peace now, knowing I don't have to look back anymore. That chapter is closed, and it's time to focus on the future. It's been a while now, and I've come to realize something. I'm really proud of myself for how I handled things after that night. Sure, I had moments of doubt and frustration, but overall, I didn't let the situation define me. I didn't let it turn me into someone jaded or distrustful of everyone I meet. Instead, I learned to set better boundaries, to be more selective, and to value my own comfort over the fear of disappointing someone else. I've also learned that sometimes the closure you're looking for isn't going to come from the other person. I spent a lot of time thinking I needed an apology, thinking I needed her to take responsibility for how she treated me. But the truth is, the closure I needed came from within. It came from acknowledging that I wasn't at fault, that I had the right to walk away, and that no matter what she said or did, I couldn't change what had already happened. And yeah, I still think about that night occasionally. It's one of those experiences that sticks with you, no matter how much time passes. But I don't dwell on it anymore. I don't let it linger in my mind and sabotage my relationships or my peace of mind. Instead, I see it for what it was, a lesson. A painful, uncomfortable, but ultimately valuable lesson. Looking back now, I can see how much stronger I am because of it. I'm more self-aware. I know what I want in a relationship and, more importantly, what I won't tolerate. I've learned to trust my instincts, and I've learned that it's okay to walk away from a situation that doesn't feel right even if it's uncomfortable or messy. I'm also more in touch with what I truly value in a person. I'm no longer looking for validation or someone to fill a gap in my life. I want someone who respects me, who treats me as an equal, and who knows how to communicate openly. I've realized that those things matter far more than any initial spark or chemistry. And for anyone reading this who's been in a similar situation, take it from me, don't wait around for the other person to apologize or fix things. You're the one who has the power to move forward. You're the one who gets to decide how this experience shapes you. Use it as an opportunity to learn about yourself, about what you want, and about how you deserve to be treated. You don't need someone's approval to heal, and you don't need to carry someone else's mistakes with you. It's your life, your boundaries, and your peace. Never forget that. So, what's next for me? I'm not sure. I'm still figuring it out. But I know one thing: I'm not letting anyone into my life who doesn't deserve to be there. I'm taking it slow, trusting myself more, and making sure that my next relationship is one built on mutual respect, trust, and clear boundaries. And if I happen to meet someone who checks all those boxes? Well, maybe I'll let myself be vulnerable again. But only when I'm sure it's the right person. I think about that whole ordeal one last time. It's weird how an experience like that can feel like it happened years ago, even if it's only been a few months. I've done the work. I've reflected, I've learned, and most importantly, I've grown. If I'm being honest, I still feel a little weird about the fact that I was in that situation in the first place. The fact that I didn't listen to my instincts, that I let things go on for so long even when it didn't feel right, it bothers me. But I also know I can't change it. All I can do is move forward with the lessons I've learned. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also what makes me stronger today. Sometimes I'll still catch myself thinking about what could have been. What if I had just told her to leave the second things felt off? What if I had been more firm in setting boundaries? But then I remind myself that this whole experience was a wake-up call. It was a moment in time, a test of my ability to stand up for myself, and I came out of it better, wiser, and more self-assured. I don't need to dwell on the what-ifs because I know I did the best I could with the information I had at the time. One thing I've realized through all of this is that it's okay to be vulnerable, but it's equally important to protect yourself. It's about finding balance. I used to think that in order to be loved or liked, I had to ignore certain things about myself or my needs. But now I understand that true love, respect, and friendship come from people who see you for who you really are and accept you, boundaries and all. So, what's my advice to anyone reading this? Don't let your fear of confrontation or discomfort cause you to compromise your well-being. Don't settle for people who push you past your limits or make you feel uncomfortable. Your time, your energy, and your peace of mind are the most important things you have. Don't waste them on someone who doesn't appreciate you. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Don't ignore the warning signs because you're afraid of being rude or too direct. It's better to speak up early than to deal with the fallout later. I'm not perfect, and I'm not going to pretend like I have everything figured out. But I know one thing: I'm no longer willing to let anyone walk all over me. I've learned to set boundaries, and I won't let anyone push me past them. I've learned that I deserve better, and that's exactly what I'm going to keep looking for. So, that's it. The chapter is closed. I've moved on. I'm stronger, more confident, and ready for whatever comes next, no matter how many dates, bad experiences, or lessons I still have to go through. And honestly, I'm looking forward to what the future holds.